Steam Deck. Steam Deck. Steam Deck. The Steam Deck. What is up, you guys? Welcome to the collective. My name is Furman, and in this video we are going to be talking about the Steam Deck. But we're not just talking about the Steam Deck, we're talking about Steamdeck Games. And you know, since this is YouTube and YouTube does prioritize and absolutely love lists, I'm doing my top 5 games to play on the Switch right now. What? And this is not in any particular order too. It's just, you know, put together and pretty much what I've been playing for the last month or so. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. Alright guys, let's get into it. So the Steam Deck's been out for a little while. And like me, most of you have probably picked one up, right? And if you haven't, you know, it's no big deal. But I will say it is a really cool console. And with it being Steam, you have access to the Steam store. So that means not only do you have access to a lot of newer games that are coming out, but you have access to games that have long since been forgotten. And since I'm not just interested in playing new games, obviously I'm interested in playing a lot of older games. So my list is going to be a little bit all over the place, but trust me, it's going to be pretty good. Alright guys, so number 5 on my list is definitely going to be Resident Evil. Now Resident Evil is obviously an insanely good game. The Resident Evil remakes and Resident Evil 2 remake in particular, which is the one that I'm talking about, is actually insanely good on the Steam Deck. So not just the fact that you're able to play this game portably, but it looks absolutely phenomenal too. I've actually been a really big fan of Resident Evil games, but I've never had the chance to get into them because of how hard to play the controller scheme can be at times. So when they remade Resident Evil 2, I had to try it out, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I've beat this game like 10 times already, and the fact that it's on Steam Deck just makes it all the more worth it. I mean, the visuals are there, the game looks amazing, and on top of that, it runs flawlessly. And that's something that the competitor, aka Nintendo Switch, can't really do. If they were to put that game on there, it'd probably be a cloud version, which sucks. Now, the awesome thing about playing it on the Steam Deck is the fact that you can tweak your settings. So you can make textures look a lot better, you can make shadows look better, and you know, you can also downgrade them too to make it run really good. Now, I'm more of a max settings kind of guy, so I have everything maxed out, and I also have 60 frames on it, and it runs really good, and you know, it doesn't really heat up like crazy. The fan kicks on maybe a couple times from what I've seen already, but other than that, the game just looks amazing and it runs perfectly, and it's just a great game to play on there. Alright, number 4 is going to be Final Fantasy. And we're not just talking about the regular Final Fantasy games, we're talking about the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. Now, what do we know about Square Enix? When it comes to Final Fantasy, they make no sense whatsoever. They decided to remake or pixel remaster Final Fantasy 1 through 6. They did this last year, and they've been releasing all the games up until 6, which got released I think at the beginning of this year. All of those games are only on iOS and Android and Steam. So what does that mean? No buttons.
You what?
And that's why this is perfect, and that's why honestly this is the best way to play those games. Because of the fact that you have actual physical buttons, it just makes it way easier and a lot more comfortable to play this game. And I mean, it's Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. I mean, they just look so good. They have really outdone themselves as far as visuals go. It is like taking the old pixelated graphics and just making it widescreen, making it HD, and also completely remastering all the music. And honestly, it sounds phenomenal too. So this is actually the best way to play those pixel remastered games. until maybe they decide to drop it on Switch or, you know, modern consoles. Yeah, I know, pretty unfortunate, especially because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, but this is the best way to play it right now. And if you have a Steam Deck, I'd definitely buy it there. Now we are on number 3. Number 3 is going to be Doom. Doom is Doom. Doom will run on anything and everything. And while I am a little bit more of a fan when it comes to the older Doom games, I absolutely love Doom 1 and Doom 2. Great games. Whenever I'm bored or I just don't really know what to play, I pick those games up because they're so much fun. I mean, the carnage, the bloodiness, it's just perfect. And on Steam Deck, it runs amazing. It actually runs better on here than it runs on the Switch, which is crazy. But that's what happens when you have a console that is basically a PC. You can do whatever you want to the settings and you can make it run better and all that stuff, whereas the Nintendo Switch versions have their Nintendo Switch preset. So you're not able to customize or do any of that stuff. None of that stuff is on there. So this is definitely the best way to play those games. And on top of that, you have access to Doom Eternal and the other Doom, the one that came out in 2016, I believe. Yeah, but you have access to those games. And yes, they are on Switch too, but they don't run as good as they do on this. Because of the fact that you can change the settings, you can go in there and customize it and tweak it and make it look really, really good. Whereas on the Switch, can't really do that. There's not much customization as far as that. So yeah, definitely another game that ranks high on the Steam Deck. And also, it's just the buttons just feel so good. Ergonomic wise, this feels a lot more comfortable and it's a lot more accessible. So it just makes perfect sense, honestly. Now number 2 is going to be The Witcher 3, or actually all 3 Witcher games. Honestly, they're on here. But The Witcher 3 is another one that is a really good game to play. When they ported it over to the Switch, the fact that you could take Witcher 3 anywhere with you was its highest selling point. And now, because of the fact that you have the Steam Deck, you can play it and you don't necessarily have to compromise too much when it comes to graphics. I have it maxed out and it looks great, it runs great. It does, I will say this though, the fan definitely does kick on. It's never so loud and so hot that it's a chore to play. It's never bothered me at all. So I would say, maybe you might have to compromise depending on how comfortable you feel with it. But the heating vent on the Steam Deck is right here, and that heat never touches these controllers. It just doesn't. So even if you have it blowing hot air like crazy, it still feels comfortable and it's still a great way to play that game. And I know I feel like I'm like ranting and kind of talking a little too much about the Nintendo Switch, but it really is the best comparison. It's the best way to compare this and to basically talk about how much better that game is on this, so you don't have to compromise anymore. Now, as you guys know, I am a huge Nintendo Switch fan, so all this shade I'm giving it, I still love my Nintendo Switch and I still play it, but I have been playing this thing like crazy. So yeah, there's just that. Oh, and on top of that, before we get to the first place, I'd like to do an honorable mention. A game that just came out, The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero, is another game that is multi-platform, I believe, but with the style, the visual style that it has and the way that it plays, this is just a perfect match for this. And also the fact that you're able to change the settings and make things run better and look better just makes it a perfect fit for the Steam Deck. It is just, the game just runs amazingly. I haven't had any issues with it, and it is definitely the way to go. So I'd pick that one if I were you. Now for first place, and since it's not in any particular order, I'm just saying it's first place, but it's just a game that I've had a lot of fun with recently. That game is Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Now, the fact that Metal Gear Rising is on the Steam Deck is just incredible. I mean, it is an old game, it's a PS3 game, but it's not limited to the PS3 anymore. So that means it runs better, it looks amazing on here, and it's just insane. Like, just the fact that the Steam Deck has been able to run that game near flawlessly, not perfect, but near flawless, just makes this game so much more accessible. Because if you don't play it on there, you know, you could play the illegal route. But if you don't play it on here, then you'd have to go back and play it on the PS3. And I wouldn't recommend that. And I almost forgot, you can actually stream it onto your PS5 using the PlayStation Plus Elite. I forget what it's called, but you're actually able to stream the game. But I wouldn't recommend that. I tried it and it looks absolutely horrible. And yes, I know, granted, I have it hooked up to my 4K TV, and it's a big giant 4K 77-inch. So naturally, it's just not gonna look that good. It's gonna look very pixelated and grainy. So I wouldn't recommend that. But I mean, it's not really much better when it comes to putting it in the PS3 itself. So this is honestly the best way to play this, and the game runs really good. I have noticed that a couple of times it's kind of stuttered a little bit, and it's kind of skipped a frame or two here and there. But for the most part, because of the pixel density and the fact that you're able to run it at 60 frames, the game looks and runs and plays flawlessly. I mean, it really does feel like this game has been revitalized, which is crazy because that game hasn't been touched. Nobody's done anything to it. But because of the fact that the Steam Deck puts the power in your hands, it allows you to overclock it and do whatever you want to do on it. So it's just the best way to play that game, honestly. Alright guys, that is all we have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always guys, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content like this. And if you have a Steam Deck too, let me know in the comments section what you've been playing. I'm definitely interested in finding out. So you guys know I'm a big nerd, so I love playing JRPGs and, you know, a couple shooters here and there, and, you know, adventure games. But who knows, maybe you might be playing some other games. Maybe you might be playing Cult of the Lamb or Project Crystal. Who knows? So let me know in the comments section. Alright guys, we will see you guys on the next video. Peace. Gundam.